COVID-19. So this was one of the main ideas of this hypothesis. And also another point is that one of the specific targets for SARS treatment is angiotensin converting enzyme 2, is ACE2 receptors. This ACE2 is the cell entry receptor for the virus. So several potential therapeutic approaches considering this ACE2 receptors is suggested for SARS and also COVID-19. For example, using agents to block the surface of ACE2 receptors and impede the virus entry. This would be important to stop this virus from entering the cells. So it seems that using complementary therapies like dietary supplements, medicinal herbs, that they have like immune boosting and anti-inflammatory and also ACE2 inhibitory characteristics beside the conventional treatment. This might strengthen our treatments against COVID-19. So we worked on probiotics, inflammations, and possible pathways to affect COVID-19. About the probiotics, you know that probiotics are popular dietary supplements with anti-inflammatory properties. There are so many research works that show that certain probiotics, they have certain anti-inflammatory properties. A scientist, I'm not sure if I am pronouncing correct or not, his name is Wolo Mano. He has like very good paper, and in conclusion they say that probiotics may be an effective supplement to reduce the severity and the duration of respiratory tract infections. There are also some very good evidence show positive effects of probiotics in forms of supplements and dairy products, especially about dairy products, on immune system and also inflammation. So far we have a strong evidence that certain probiotics, they have good effects on our immune system and inflammation. Also, Mr. Boskert, I'm not sure if the pronunciation is correct or not, he worked on a specific probiotic called Bifidobacterium. He proposed that if we add Bifidobacterium in a vaccine for the prevention and treatment of coronavirus infected individuals, especially for those who have gastrointestinal disorders, this would be very effective and beneficial for the patients. His work is published in 2020, just recently. And he mentioned that some strains of this Bifidobacterium, like Bifidobacterium 12, they have shown inhibitory effects on interleukin 17. And this would be very important because this characteristic can hamper the replication of the virus via reducing endoplasmic reticulum stress-related autophagia. So they can stop this autophagia and like would be a good weapon against this virus. About the mechanisms of these probiotics, there are some like ideas, some proposals. Main proposed mechanism is attributed to the production of short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, short-chain fatty acids. These fatty acids are produced by Bifidobacterium and some other probiotics. Some studies reported anti-inflammatory characteristics of this SCFAs. For example, butyrate. Butyrate is a short-chain fatty acid and has certain anti-inflammatory characteristics. Also, SCFAs, they can decrease the level of serum endotoxins like LPS. They can reduce the intestinal permeability, so the absorption of this endotoxin would be reduced, so the serum endotoxin would decrease. There are some other potential mechanisms of probiotics to modulate inflammatory process. For example, some affecting genes expressions involved in inflammation, some changing in gut microflora, protecting and repairing endothelial barriers, and also suppressing nuclear factors like kappa B pathway. These are some other anti-inflammatory mechanisms which are proposed for probiotics. Also, some studies before, they showed that their efficacy on inhibition of ACE2 inhibitor. So you see that probiotics also can be effective for inhibition of these receptors, which are very important in COVID-19. So for this suppressing inflammation, there are some certain probiotics. It's very important that if we want to make a mixture of some probiotics, it's very important that which kind of probiotic you choose. Mr. An and his colleagues, they had a good research, and they announced that these probiotics, you can see the list: Lactobacillus, both the rotary and Paracasei, and also Lactobacillus fermentum, and a mixture of Saccharomyces, and also Lactobacillus bulgaricus. They have certain anti-inflammatory effects. They can suppress the inflammation, and their positive effects already is approved. Besides these probiotics, the medicinal herbs. Today from the morning we had some talks about on these medicinal herbs and their anti-inflammatory effects and actions. They also have some certain pathways for this anti-inflammatory action. Some certain herbs like ma huang. You know, ma huang is a Chinese medicine herb. English name is ephedra. And chai hu. Chai hu is also a Chinese medicine herb. And the apricot kernel. Because they all of them, they have amygdalin. This apricot kernel has the amygdalin. They are very good examples of medicinal herbs containing like anti-inflammatory effects. These two components, they have aromatic molecules with hydrophobic characteristics. So it has been suggested that they also can inhibit the interaction of the virus with ACE2 receptor. So you can see again, we have herbs here that they can block ACE2 receptor, so they can block the entry of COVID-19. Mr. Xu and Mr. Zhang, they concluded that some herbal prescriptions mostly contain Chinese herbs can reduce the severe symptoms of patients with COVID-19. This is a kind of review work and recently published. And they proposed that licorice and Chinese bellflower and forsythia and mulberry leaf, they are examples of herbs added to the mixtures, and they have anti-inflammatory components and effects. They also pointed to the favorite experience obtained from the herbal mixtures used in China. And they said that these mixture of herbs, they were very successful in like during the process of the treatment of COVID-19, they helped a lot. Also, Hui and his colleagues, they concluded that this licorice and huanqi is another Chinese medicine herb, and also baiju, jinyinhua. These herbs, they are very frequently used medicinal herbs in infected cases with COVID-19, and they were like very helpful. Based on another review study, medicinal herbs can affect COVID-SARS infection through several pathways, including immunomodulation and also the inhibition of ACE receptors, cellular entry of SARS-CoV, viral absorption and penetration, and some other SARS-3CL pro-activity, and also inflammatory pathways. These are all already research results. So this is our hypothesis that according to all these previous studies, a mixture of probiotics and medicinal herbs is proposed, and we can suggest that the effects of this mixture containing probiotics and herbs would be more considerable on immune system first. You saw that they have very good effects on this immune system, like interleukins and all those that I explained, and also the inflammatory parameters compared to each one alone. The mixture has a kind of boosting effect. So this is to conclude that from the theoretical point of view, it seems that using a mixture of probiotics and medicinal herbs with prebiotic properties, this is important that we choose which kind of medicinal herb. Best of them is having prebiotic properties. It can be helpful to combat this pandemic. However, making a final decision on whether this supplement can play a supportive role on controlling patient circumstances relies on findings extracted from randomized controlled trial. We need to do this in the near future. Thank you for your time and for your patience in listening my presentation. I wish you all the best. And this is thank you with many languages. Any question or time limitation? Okay, thank you very
much. Okay, thank you, Hossein, for your very nice presentation.